Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
I'm John. Welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
You're goddamn right. And to keep us positive,
right.
And that's it.
to keep us positive, we've decided to make this a drinking game. So anytime we say anything negative at all, any negative thing,
Anything.
We're
Even if we're arguing.
yeah, especially if we're arguing, you're going to hear this sound. That sound means we need to take a drink, and we hope you drink along with us.
So pour yourselves a glass. We're going to be in total chaos tonight. We really didn't plan this.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, boys.
Pre-show shot.
We're making it up as we go along.
I'm
All right.
starting, you guys, I'm taking some training in transcendental meditation this week.
Nice.
And I got an email on Friday that was basically like, make sure not to drink or do any drugs for 14 days before the beginning of your training.
Isn't that just sleeping sitting up? I do that at work all the time.
2 weeks before.
Do I
2
lie to their
weeks?
face?
Yeah.
You find the cool ones, and then afterwards be like, hey, I have this podcast.
That's how much you guys mean to me. I'm sacrificing.
Wait, so
my
are you going to be
TM
teaching
training.
it, or is this just for your own personal practice?
For me, for practice?
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, friends,
Let's drink.
with that, guys, this is we're about to have some fun today. For anybody, for all of our amazing followers who have been following along to our summer blockbuster face-off, where we have been taking the highest grossing summer movie of every year from 1980 until 2019, plus Stars and Jaws, the two that kind of kickstarted the whole summer
That's
blockbuster
Star Wars and Jaws.
craze.
Yes.
What did I say?
Stars. You're a Resident Evil 2 villain. Stars.
Stars and Jaws.
Your treks and your wars.
So we are taking the highest grossing summer blockbuster of every year, and we battled them off one by one. So we went 1980 against 1981, 1982 against 1983. Only one could advance. We have now gotten to the point where we have talked about all of these movies. So we are
all of
entering
them.
round
Except
2
two.
and 3. So what we are going to do today, if you're doing the math, you might notice in the past 30 years plus 2 divided by 2, you get it. Well, that's 16. Fuck it. It just doesn't matter. We have an odd number. No, it's 40 movies. Okay, sorry. 40 plus 2 divided by 2, 21. We actually have 22. Do the fucking math yourselves, people. Is it 23? Doesn't matter.
Needless
we
to
have
say, our bracket is wonky.
Our bracket is wonky. So what we are doing, so this is going to require some focus, people. What we are doing is we are taking a randomizer to our bracket. So instead of going 80s, 90s to, like anybody else would have done, we are randomizing all of our choices so that this round here, we're going to get it down to about 16 or so. And then next week,
And I
we're
can
going
tell
to
you
chop
now,
it down.
we're
to
going to
8.
regret that.
We're going to regret it. Yeah, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. Not tough for you listeners, tough for us having to decide between, I don't know, Top Gun versus Revenge of the Sith, or Jurassic Park versus Mission Impossible, The Incredibles versus Back to the Future, just to tease a couple that we have coming up. Crazy, Incredibles 2, that is, against Back to the Future. So anyway, we are going to do this head to head, talk about all these summer movies. So we hope you listen, we hope you pay attention, and we hope you join the battle at home, drinking, getting mad at yourselves, engage with us, because again, next week, you're going to hear us get down to 8, and then we're going to do in about Labor Day, I think, Labor Day weekend. We're going to conclude this summer series with the decisive episode to decide what is the greatest summer blockbuster of all time.
Summer blockbuster.
Expect crying, expect swearing.
Anything you guys want
Just like to say in advance, fuck you guys.
Fuck you.
Anything you two want to say before we get into our first series here? Any news or anything you want to get to?
I heard a little union guys are back at the table, which is good news.
Yeah.
That is great news.
Yeah.
We'll see how
Do
that's
the
going to
Writers
go.
Guild and the producers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I read an article that said that they left initially on Friday nights. This was like last week when they first met, last Friday, not this past Friday, the week before. And they walked away. And then at some point in this past week, the producers came back and said, all right, we're willing to negotiate beyond what we had said on Friday night, which apparently was a re-offering of kind of where they left off previously.
They probably got a phone call from like Scorsese and Christopher Nolan and all that.
Hope so,
Like
man.
HBO
I fucking
HBO
hope
did.
so, dude. Honestly, we got to get these people back to work
Yeah.
for the right price.
Yes.
Fucking make that money. Oh, Jeff, Jeff,
Share
Dave,
that money. They're making that money. Anyway,
Dave, did we talk about it last week? The thing you shared with us about the VFX? We did mention it, right? Sorry,
we have
drink on this
mentioned that
podcast
was
and I forget things.
we have mentioned that was on the cards. There was a rumor that they were doing it. Yes, they have a certain VFX companies didn't list which have filed a petition to unionize.
Okay.
So that's a vote to unionize. Yeah.
What's so exciting about that? What's so real about that is that would put a squeeze on both ends of the pipeline. And that could create an incentive in a way that they're not forced to think about shows right now, shows and movies that have already been produced or things that could happen overseas.
It would stop them killing VFX artists. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and of course that. Yeah. Anyway, let's do it.
It might double the pool. They might need to hire way more VFX artists to well, if they want to maintain this workload, they're going to have to hire more people.
You're totally right, man.
They can't just go, hey, you know what? You guys don't get any vacation until we finish episode 10.
Dave, you know what I'm excited about? I'll just go ahead and tell you because I think you guys will think this is cool. I'm taking a class. It's a directing class starting next week with an LED volume. You're directing with the volume. So I was just going to
say, didn't you just go to film school? You're taking another class?
One more fucking year, dude. God almighty.
Don't stop.
Yeah, you're going to have fun with the volume.
God, I'm excited,
I like how you could run a company with an MBA, but an MFA, you need 3 years.
You also shouldn't drink or do drugs before you stand in that thing. So
I don't know. It depends on what the visual is. What if it's just the end of Alex Garland's Annihilation? Remember that part, Jeff?
Yeah, we were so screwed up.
Okay.
All right, people. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Ready to go. So Dave said
you did kind of clarify. You did say it right about the buys that some movies will not hear in this first round. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have weird sticky outy prongs on our bracket where we have to sort.
Sticky outy prongs.
We have to do some housekeeping before we can actually have a solid straight ass bracket.
That's right. So, and this is a good time to mention that we have a YouTube channel. So if this is so exciting, you're like, God, I want to be looking at this bracket, watching.
I want to see it.
You're not going to see all of it. Not all at once. No, you'll see a little bit.
Dave's getting piece by piece. All right, people, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Dasein, thanks for your music. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Dasein. D-A-S-E-I-N, available on all music platforms. Let's do it. Cool.
Up first, in our randomized generator, we have 2005's Revenge of the Sith versus 1980's...
I hate you.
versus 1986's Top Gun.
Don't do it, Tom. I have the high ground.
Dave.
Dave. Were you laying awake thinking of that one this morning?
All right. So 2005's Revenge of the Sith.
The really scary part is that just popped out.
86's Top Gun. So any highlights? Why don't we do some quick highlights of what we talked about with these two movies? I think Top Gun we were all very favorable on.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith, not so much.
Divisive movie of Top Gun, though. I saw a list this week that was just talking about like super overrated, really popular movies, and Top Gun was on it. And I don't know, it made me think of our conversation.
I feel like those people weren't comfortable in their manhood. If you can watch that volleyball scene and be fine with feeling just a little bit weird.
Dave, bring up the volleyball scene.
A little bit weird, yeah. Beautiful, yeah.
Little tingly.
All right.
It's a great camp movie because they're basically in camp.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that movie is essential, and I think it's just safe to say that it's up against any of those middle generation Star Wars trilogies. Everybody feels a little iffy about them.
What kind of camp did you guys go to? Because when I went to camp, we were in the middle of the forest, and they sat us down and made us watch Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Camp.
They showed us Michael Jackson's Thriller, and we were in the middle of the forest.
They were trying to calm you down so that your anxiety from the Cold War attack wouldn't be.
I think they were trying to stop us sneaking out into the woods, to be honest. It's a great idea.
What a weird duo. So Top Gun versus Star Wars.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith.
Specifically, Revenge of the Sith, which is
a great movie.
Both of you guys said, just to clarify, both of you guys said this was your favorite movie within the trilogy. I think my favorite one is Attack of the Clones, the second one. And that
I bounce back and forwards depending on when you ask me.
I think I do too, because I really love the scene where Ewan McGregor shows outside the clones. It's like highlight for me. I'm like,
so cool, and it's so political.
Seriously, I'm just waiting for him to cut to something and to go dun dun.
I didn't mind the beginning with the the weird like detective chase with the flying cars and the two of them. Like it's not exactly Star Wars, but it's fun. Okay, anyway,
let's also point out. Let's just clarify a few things. Like, what do these movies not share at all? Enormous amounts of CGI. So we have to stroke out. Right, we have 1986 Top Gun, which is like famously the sound design and just a lot of really wonderful real footage that Tony Scott and them put together of all these like actual fighter pilots in planes, not nearly as much as they were able to do with the more recent one that came out last year, but nonetheless. And then we have
Revenge of the Sith
going nuts with new CGI technology.
Real at all.
I mean, honestly, like how much of that was not shot on anywhere on location? It was all green screens, and
we're still trying to figure out if that's actually Ewan McGregor.
But guys, put yourself in the zone. Put yourself in the zone. We got our zone? Popcorn. Yes, you did it.
Spreading out her wings tonight.
I feel the need.
I'll drink myself.
She got you jumping off the deck, shoving into overdrive.
That was a lob up, and he was just hoping someone caught that. Okay.
All right,
we got to rapid fire these a little bit, but yeah.
Jeff's ready to vote. I think we both know what it is. Actually, I don't. What are you guys voting for? Dave, kick it off.
I mean, as far as blockbusters go, it's got to be Top Gun in this match.
Yeah. 3 for 3.
Top Gun. Yep.
Top Gun.
All
okay,
right.
so in our next round, Top Gun will be facing off against a movie that got to advance without any competition, The Lion King from 1994. So you'll have to listen to part 2 of our episode later for 1994's The Lion King against Top Gun to see who is going to advance into the semifinals. Is it the semifinals already? After the next round?
After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to end up with 8 movies.
Yeah. So into the Sweet 16, The Lion King and Top Gun.
All right. This one's going to hurt you.
Listeners, we do talk about what we're going to talk about on these shows. We do talk ahead of time. Sometimes it might seem like we're really just making it up as we go, but
and also there's a little bit of playfulness. Like we like to discuss exactly what we're going to do, and then one of us will just try and fuck with everyone.
That is always fun.
Not
we just
always
me. Throw a wrench in it. I would never do that.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
All right. Next round. We have 1993. Yeah, in our current, round. Yes. Next, what's the right word? Sorry, I don't follow the March Madness.
The next matchup.
The next matchup is 1993's Jurassic Park randomly up against 2000's Mission Impossible 2.
This is gonna be a long one.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
What's Jurassic Park about again? Oh, by the way, I was driving on the road today back from Palm Springs, and I came up behind a Jeep Wrangler on the road, and they had it looked like it was the Jeep Wrangler from the movie. They had, over their back tire on the back of the Wrangler, they had the Jurassic Park thing, just like in the movies. But this thing was so fucking faded and torn up, it could have been from '93, and they just haven't touched it.
Guy looks down in his side mirror, and there's John with his head out the window of the car with his mouth wide open, trying to do the shot.
Dude, way to go!
They just turn on the flashlight out the back every now and then.
Well, I'm just going to remind listeners that I called it in '93. I think there's a chance, or in our year '93, '94, in the initial face-off, I think Jurassic Park might go all the way. So I think we know what I'm voting for in this round. I can see it happening. I don't know what randomness is going to get in the way of that, but I could see it happening.
I mean, we gotta check out the brackets.
I must say, I rewatched Mission Impossible 2. I rewatched Jurassic Park. Watched it since because we were talking about it, and I was just like, I gotta watch this again, and because I like to cast my mind back to when Jurassic Park was good. And
David, I got you, you stupid motherfucker, you fucking asshole.
God damn, don't do that when I'm drinking.
You goddamn
And I remember, I think I've said it before, I hated Mission Impossible 2.
More than you hated Finding Dory?
I felt like
it was that level of disdain, or was it just...
It was worse.
Yeah.
And on the rewatch, I'm happy to say I was 100% right. I fucking hate that movie. It's like there's a couple of like
I can't believe we let it beat Shrek.
Elements.
Voted over Shrek.
There's a couple of elements that are Mission Impossible, but it's really not. It's something else. Like it's missing.
It's a John Woo film, dude. Yeah.
It's a fun John Woo film.
Call
Come
it
on.
something else.
Now hold on, but let's put it in the context, because I think Jeff and I were surprised at how much more we enjoyed it because of the negative perception we had of it after, seeing it years ago and then seeing all these other successful ones. You didn't agree with that at all. You thought it was just as bad as you felt about it back then.
I mean, I enjoyed a couple of things more. But
Anthony Hopkins' shadowy profile.
Yeah, he's in it for like 10 seconds. They probably put him on all the posters too, like, Ana de Armas.
Where's that? Sevilla, Spain, España.
And we never saw him again. Nothing happened to him. He just turned up and then he was never there again.
What about Tom Cruise's haircut? I think that's the only time it's that and Magnolia. He was like, I got to get these in. This haircut's going to stay in both of these movies, whether you like it or not.
He made them both at the same time, I'm sure.
I remember seeing that movie in the theaters when he almost falls off the he's free soloing at the beginning, and then he has the thing get delivered. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a little like kitschy, it's a little music video-y, but man, it was tight when he almost fell.
Toss of the Dave,
the toss of the sunglasses when it blows up.
The sunglasses, and then Dave. Right into the end credits, Limp Bizkit. Come on, what else are you looking for?
I'm looking for some like Mission Impossible content. Like they pulled the fake face gag, but they just used that one gag all the way through the movie. Like there was no big
Mission Impossible, dude.
No, the fake hospital and all the stuff that they set up in the other ones. Like even the set pieces
worked for me when the person's mouth was tied.
I think for this one, I'm definitely going to lean towards Jurassic Park.
Sure. Hold on, wait. Let's put Mission MI2 one more time in context, though. What did we all? Because we all saw it in theaters. Listeners, we're old enough to remember this. Like this franchise had not really become a franchise in the sense yet. This was just their second stab at it. So I think we were all just thinking, like, we don't know what the fuck they're going to do with these. This was just another movie. It was, but it wasn't nearly as action packed. Like, did you enjoy some of the action sequences of this one? Because I agree with you. I love the De Palma one, but it's all spy until that train sequence at the end.
Yeah, that's what Mission Impossible was. It built to an action beat.
So you feel like now? I'm just curious because I'll talk about it at the end of this episode. But
because 2 did set the path forward for like inserting multiple action beats in the films, but yeah, I just don't think it for some reason didn't work here.
Every villain looked like Jason Isaacs or Sean Bean. They all looked like it.
I thought we joked about that, right? I thought number 2's villain was Sean Bean. I was sure of it.
Yeah, me too.
Fucking sure of it, dude.
I mean, did he live?
I was like, I know this is right after GoldenEye. Oh, yeah.
Did he live? Yeah, he does. Yeah. Sean Bean does not live. Hashtag Sean Bean passes.
Yeah, it's him and Glenn Close, man.
Are you sure there's not just some Aussie sense of patriotism for Sam Neill that you're just like being a little prick and staying true to Jurassic Park just so you can see your fellow countrymen?
Fuck you, you're voting for Jurassic Park. What are you talking about?
Jurassic Park. You just said Jurassic Park might win. Its quarter final matchup could be very difficult, by the way. I'm looking ahead in our bracket.
Jeff, what did you say?
Oh, fuck yeah, Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Well, come on. I can't believe Mission Impossible 2 beat Shrek, even though I voted for it. But hey, whatever. Go listen to our feed, people.
All right, Jurassic Park goes through.
Moving on.
Jurassic Park.
Okay, Jurassic Park is going to be up against Guardians in the Sweet 16. So, but moving on, competing out to get these 22 down to 16 here. Our next matchup in this round. Here we go. 1985's Back to the Future against 2019, the final year of our series, Incredibles 2.
What's the plot of Incredibles, by the way? There's no the.
This is what we talked about the other day. I know I liked it. What's it about? What happened? Samuel L. Jackson's in it, right? Is he the villain?
I've watched it. I've watched it twice since we talked about it. So.
You rewatched it again?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Again, this is probably obvious, but we'll stretch it for just a second. Roads. Yeah. Where we're going, you won't need roads. I don't know, you guys. I think Incredibles 2 is like, this is one of those things where we have to be honest. Like, objectively, if these movies came out the same year, I still think we probably would end up voting for Back to the Future. But it's almost like we're looking at two completely different, like the touchstone.
If it came out in 1985, Incredibles 2 would look like a fucking Atari game.
Sure. But if it existed at the same time, like, you know, Back to the Future is such an incredibly cultural, iconic touchstone now that it's kind of impossible not to think of it in that context, even though
it's funny.
Despite our ability to remember the plot of Incredibles 2, we all thought it was a really well-made movie and really good and really entertaining, and we enjoyed watching it.
I own 3 copies of that trilogy, and I bought.
So you own 1 copy of each of the movies in the trilogy?
3 copies of the trilogy. I have them on Blu-ray back in Australia, and I have them on DVD back in Australia, and I bought them over here for the rewatch.
Do you have a DVD player?
Not here. There's one still sitting in a box in Australia because we're you go back to the 90s back there.
Sure.
Technology's still hanging in there.
What range is that?
VHS.
What DVD range? What DVD range is the Australia? You know, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's 4. Region 4.
It's 4. Okay.
Yeah. Or if you hack your DVD player, who gives a fuck? Yeah.
All right, you guys are off the rails here. Okay, I know we're going to vote. The Incredibles 2 is going to be it for the series, but just as a reminder, it made $1.2 billion.
Sure.
It made $180 million in its opening weekend domestically, which is a Pixar record, and it's a record for animated movies everywhere. Worldwide, it made $280 million in its opening weekend. Again, $1.2 billion, and it was only number 4 in the year.
Yeah.
That's how fucking crazy this 2018 was. Avengers Infinity War made $2 billion, Black Panther, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, then Incredibles 2, then Aquaman, all made $1 billion. So this is just
Jeff,
in that time.
You're saying Back to the Future as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I am too. And just to bring the Hollywood small world circle in here, Incredibles is directed. Yeah. Incredibles is directed by Brad Bird, who, after directing the first one, Tom Cruise asked to direct the 4th Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
So Mr. Brad is.
And how was the 4th Mission Impossible movie?
You know what? It's better than number 2.
It was. It was. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I like that one. Is that Rogue Nation?
Yeah.
Or Ghost Protocol. I can never remember. Yeah, it's one of those 2.
Oh, fuck. Which one? No, Ghost Protocol came first, then Rogue Nation.
I like both of them. I rewatched them not too long
Everything
ago.
from 3 onwards is gold in that series.
I agree.
It's just a shame 2 got the position.
John Woo is still the fucking man, though, dude.
Ghost Protocol is definitely
not
4.
denying that at all.
Definitely 5.
Yeah, dude. Black suits, white shirts, black ties, and pistols. Let's go.
God, these movies are so good.
All right, so are we doing it?
Good. Let's go.
Great Scott! You've moved on. That was my best shot. What do you? Everybody do their best. Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Man.
I don't think that Christopher Nolan loves Talladega Nights. It's one of his favorite movies.
Give me your best Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown impression right now. Go, Dave.
Great Scott. That's it. That's all I got.
You can't do exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Else am I supposed to do?
Moving on.
I screamed. What are you talking about?
I hate all you.
Yeah, the scream. Good one.
Back to the Future's up against Star Wars next round. All right, let's go.
All right.
Oh, here's a good round.
Yeah, right?
Dave,
okay.
Dave, tell us.
Oh, I am fucking conflicted here. We've got 2012 The Avengers versus 96 Independence Day.
Ah, shit.
Do you hear the silence, listeners?
Yeah,
we're like even scared to talk about it.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the blockbuster movie of my fucking childhood.
Me too.
Against arguably, one of the better Marvel, which is saying something. One of the better Marvel blockbusters.
This is it is right up there.
God,
and I think the only reason I would say the only reason like Endgame topped this is because of the build to it. But this was how you build a fucking team. So the Avengers, like I have seen that movie so many times.
Yeah, which one of these movies have you seen more often?
I could not tell you. To be honest, it might be an even keel. I don't know which way I'm going to go on this.
More. I think I've only seen Avengers
it came out
4 times. And I've seen Independence Day. This was one of those that, like, for those several years over the summers, especially when my friends and I were like out of school over the summers, I had the tape, like this was a go-to. Maybe once a month we would pop this baby in. Like we watched it so much. Oh man, you guys, I think I know what I'm doing, but
it's oh god, okay.
Again, let me put this into some context here, which is something that like I still go back to Independence Day for, which is just so exciting. Independence Day 4. What I go back to Independence Day 4 is I still think the way that they used is for the sequel, so I can get ready for Insurgents. It's still the way that they used the combination of early special effects in combination with still like classic use of practical miniatures and all that stuff. We were talked about how this was kind of the rise of the Will Smithdom of the late 90s when he was beginning to just really explode and take over.
This was his introduction to an action star, really. Like this,
even more than Men in Black. Yeah,
I mean, and Harry Connick Jr.
Right? Yeah, even more.
Like,
and you guys, there's only 2 movies in this whole fucking thing that star Jeff Goldblum, and I feel obliged, you know, because he's just. Yeah. God, I just love him so much.
Okay, so when we talked about Independence Day, we never talked about Harvey Firestein, who's one of the best cameos.
Oh yeah.
Oh crap.
My mother. I've got to call my. I gotta call my lawyer. Call my lawyer.
Get out. Doesn't he say like
one of my favorite characters?
Oh crap! When he sees the fire coming out.
Oh crap! Oh yeah, they just kill him and we move right on, but he does die. Crap. David, I've got to.
I will say, the one thing that Avengers has in its favor as well is the visual effects in that as well. There is some stuff they used a lot of advanced photometry. I can never say it, but like they took like 20,000 photos of New York in the area they were going to film, and that's how they created the buildings for all the sequences. So it was people were, and there's only like 1 or 2 buildings they couldn't get on the roof off. They weren't allowed up there, but they took like 20,000 something photos for those animation sequences.
I think it's also unique that we're talking about 2 movies that obviously Independence Day deals with it,
New York City.
Avengers cities get destroyed, but also because of aliens. Like this is the first, there was a Marvel before Aliens. You know what I mean? Like there were 3 or 4 movies that came out before Avengers, and this was such a big deal when I don't know, just because we did watch Iron Man 3 for whatever that was. And remember, Tony was like still like
that was
it's kind of hard to look back and remember that like there was a Marvel before they were in fucking space and the universe was at risk and all these gigantically unbelievably impossible stakes. This was them just trying to save the world, and then fucking aliens pop out of the fucking sky. So I mean, it's kind of funny that they're both dealing with like, what do we do when we realize we're not alone? You guys, I know what I'm voting for.
I know what I'm voting for, and I'm not sorry.
Let's do it.
I'm doing Independence Day.
I'm doing Independence Day too! Dave! What are you doing?
I mean, I've got to do Independence Day, to be honest.
Yes!
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 Like, Avengers is fantastic, but I don't know anyone that needed a cigarette break after the fucking destruction sequence. Like that one.
Oh yeah, like, that dude you told us about.
Yeah, that's
that party.
Needing to pause that movie is what gets it across the line, because like you can watch Avengers all the way through and it's fun, it's campy. There's never really any big stakes. They wiped out like fucking 8 cities in Independence Day.
It was the first movie to do that too. Like I think we chatted about that, but like no one, they do that all the time now. Did you guys didn't watch it, but there's a part in the this last Fast and the Furious movie. No, the last Fast 10. You get Fast X. They got Roman numeral on your ass for that one, where they fucking blow up Rome. Yeah. Like the town is wiped off the earth.
I watched it.
All right, you watched it. It's just they do it all the time now that the magic is gone a little bit.
I've seen the behind the scenes footage on that ball too. It was practical.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was on wires and shit, but it was practical.
Independence Day was crazy because we didn't know we hadn't seen the aliens yet. They're just moving in on their ships, and people are like, "Do we want to meet them? Are we scared of them?" And they're coming in, and then they just douche. I mean, the White House and the
guys. You know, I heard a cool story the other day because somebody was telling me I met someone who worked with someone who was an assistant to Roland Emmerich in the late '90s, and we were talking. I was having a conversation with them about the benefit of. Honestly, about the benefit of short films. I was like, what do you think about, are they still effective? And they said they were basically making the argument that only if they are like a proof of concept. And they referred to Roland and his producing partner, brother as well, how when they were trying to get this script off the ground, they made a little proof of concept short of just the explosion sequence. It was a much, more minimized version of it, but just to show this is what we can do with it. This is what the effect that we're going to make it look like. And it was so fucking awesome, their short film, that they were like, let's go. Let's go. Let's give them a shot. That is so cool.
Yeah. Saw got across the line for that, doing that as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we only have 2 more in this
11
round.
sequels.
We have 2 more in this round before we go into the Sweet 16. So our final two play-in games for Elimination.
Oh, this is another tough one.
Oh, no, it's not.
Not
All right, people.
Oh, come on. Well, they're not similar at all. Jeff, you introduced these.
All right, 2003's Finding Nemo against the highest grossing summer movie of 2008, The Dark Knight.
How different is that from the previous match? I mean, there's totally different movies.
The other two were so similar. This is completely different. This is almost not fair.
Oh yeah, this is why it's fun that we're doing these random matchups, because I would never ever have put these in the same conversation, right?
I mean, I'm tempted to try and put Finding Nemo through just to watch Matt and Mark have a fucking meltdown next week.
Not even Matt and Mark. I think we would have death threats. I feel like this would be. People were joking with us about not putting CNN, Ghostbusters through. Yeah. This is people would be mad at us about this one.
Yeah.
Well, thank God they're on break this week. They're off this week, so they can fuck them.
Matt and Mark, fuck you,
fuck you. Damn it.
All right.
But, yeah.
Let's just go ahead and say it just one more time. Pixar's fourth endeavor, right?
I'm having fish tonight.
Crikey.
No,
Finding Nemo is a perfect movie.
It's not food. Oh, my Australian accent sucks. Sorry.
Oh, come on. Perfect movie. A perfect movie. I was fucking crying watching this. I think Jeff and I
oh yeah.
We just could not get over just how amazing it was. Dave, you voted for something else in this first round, right? Who was up against Finding Nemo?
Really?
2003 would have been up against 2000. I have it right here. You keep going.
Anyway, I feel like it is just, we have all now talked about Dark Knight and that whole franchise twice now on our series. And I think we all acknowledge that there's something structurally underwhelming about the coda to that movie with the Two-Face stuff, and how some people say that because of that, it becomes a more interesting movie because your structure kind of dissolves and it's just so character driven, and it's still so successful with the final theme of Gary Oldman saying he's who we need him to be. He's our Dark Knight. Versus Finding Nemo, which is airtight, right? It's it's perfect structurally. There's not a moment missed. The comedy and the heart and everything is just absolutely dead on.
Also, Finding Nemo doesn't have that one random cut in the middle where he's suddenly driving the bike down a corridor for no adequately explained reason.
Wait, was he inside the mall?
Yeah, he busts through the glass, and then all of a sudden he's driving down a corridor, and it's like there was no corridor on the other side of that glass. It's a weird cut.
And I love that he's
can't get past it.
It's a weird cut, and I love that he's going 10 miles an hour. Maximum, that bike is barely moving.
That's as fast as that thing goes.
Also, I love it. They're like, wait, there's a truck that's on fire that's telling us to go underground. We should do it. And then another guy's like, I don't know. We'd be sitting ducks down there. And it's like, yeah, of course. When they the trucks go underground.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Captain Foreshadowing.
And then they used it in Mission Impossible in the previous one, didn't they? Remember? To diverge the trucks down there. So
they did.
Classic. It's all the small Hollywood story, you guys.
Finding Nemo beats Spider-Man. So this is, there you go. This is a
heavy hitter.
All right, but what are we talking about? Because we have used this argument a few times to help us clarify. When we sit down, summer blockbuster, what are you looking for? You're looking for a big crowd. You're looking for popcorn in your lap and eating some candy and sipping your drink and just sitting on the edge of your seat and feeling suspense and action.
I don't know. Is it just action, or is it a room of people laughing together as well?
I got a big crowd for Finding Nemo, to be fair.
As a summer blockbuster,
it could be. I'm not going to be disappointed.
We're doing the best summer blockbuster. It's got to be The Dark Knight.
I'm going Dark Knight too, but I would not be.
And I had qualms with The Dark Knight too, if you remember.
All right, 3 for The Dark Knight.
Oh my
right,
god.
Although
our
I
last-
will, the thing I did love most about Finding Nemo is like the amount of extra work they put into it. So when you get the DVD, if anyone still has like the Blu-ray or the DVD, leave it sitting on the menu. It's fucking hilarious. Just leave it sitting on the menu for 2 or 3 minutes. He starts harassing you to make a choice because he can't deal with the fact you haven't picked anything yet. It just goes
Marlon?
on and on and on. Yeah.
Is it Marlon?
He's like, just pick something. The only wrong thing to do is nothing, like you're doing.
Dave, if you like Finding Nemo, you should check out the sequel. It's
Fuck
it's
yourself.
pretty.
Basically the same thing, just a little different. All right, let's go into our final play-in game to get into the Sweet 16.
Oh, this is over.
It's gonna be a tough one.
No
Everybody can start their break
discussion
there.
necessary.
All right, yeah.
1991's highest-grossing summer movie, Terminator 2. Might have heard of it.
I can't even come up with a fake argument for this.
2006's Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
Which is number 2 or 3 of the
That's number
Pirates
2.
movie?
That's
That's
two.
number 2.
Made a lot of money. Made a
Two
lot of money.
sequels.
Good villain too.
This is fun. It's fun that they're both 2 sequels. Right? They're both the second installment.
Well, the second,
Yeah.
yeah. Which is the better sequel? Do you think?
I don't.
That's the only.
To be honest, I don't
That
think
was my only
Pirates-
contribution to this conversation.
Yeah, I don't think Pirates improved on the original with the sequel.
I think, and that's the thesis right there, dude. That's the perfect argument. 1991's Terminator 2 somehow upped the fucking ante. I like Terminator 1 a lot.
Yeah,
I think
me
that's a
too.
kick-ass movie.
Yeah,
And
I
I
watched
watched,
those
I watched
cock,
that at
like,
a
right
very
away.
young age. It scared the fuck out of me when he walked out of that fire as just a skeleton.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, dude. It's
Hell
so
yeah.
cool. T2 upped it though. It's somehow better. I think it's
Oh, yeah.
a better movie than the first one.
That and the
because-
whole nuclear weapons tie-in. It's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the Pirates movies. All right, here let me ask you a general question. Do you think there was more potential and more means for them to up the ante with T2 because it was aimed at mostly an adult audience, whereas you kind of had to have that family audience appeal for the Pirates movies?
Was it aimed at adults, or were those kids just listening to fucking Def Leppard and shit, and they were hard, you know?
I don't
Yeah.
think so. I
You're
think
not
it
my
was
mother, Todd.
It was probably at least PG-13, right? The
Yeah,
Pirates
I'm-
movies are all PG, I think.
I'm pretty sure everybody
yeah.
took their 14-year-old to see Terminator 2.
Sure. Yeah, I got nothing. T2
Yeah.
all the way.
Yeah,
T2.
this,
Fucking-
this,
yeah,
this
yeah.
one's over real quick.
Yeah, sorry, folks. We don't have to talk too much about that.
Yeah.
Well,
And
we're considering taking a
we're
break,
lying.
but
Oh God, you don't want to know what that just put on the second bracket there. All right, we're into our second row. We have cleaned it up.
Ooh.
All right, so we are now officially in the Sweet 16. You guys wanna listen to some DOS sign, or do you want to keep plowing through?
We can keep plowing through.
Let's plow. Yeah, I think we're
So
good.
this is it for this episode. We're gonna do the Sweet 16, and then next week we're gonna pick it up with the Elite 8.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
we'll probably walk it all the way
Contentious.
down, right? In the next
mean,
episode.
I think we might have to do it, guys. We might have to fucking do it.
Yeah, I think we're
All
gonna
right,
have
let's go.
to. All right, let's hit it. So
go.
in the next round, this is Sweet 16. Now that we got past our weird odds and ends with not having a perfect 16, so now after you've listened to that first whole round, we have a Sweet 16. So
Those are the
as
playing
we told
games.
you, number one in this versus is 1994's The Lion King. It got a bye, as several movies you'll hear in the future. So it is up against what we talked about initially at the beginning of the episode when it was Revenge of the Sith versus Top Gun. Top Gun won.
I forgot I moved that. Sorry.
No, you're good. So 1994's The Lion King versus 1986's Top Gun. They're basically the same story, same movie, same music. They both star Top Guns, Tom Cruise. Oh my God, you guys.
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
hard one.
I'm going to small world it just because I think this is fun that I keep drawing these connections. In the reimagining of Top Gun, the same composer for Lion King would be hired to do the score for the reimagining of Top Gun that came out in 2022.
Cool.
Good stuff.
The Lion King
help
score
me
was a
not at all.
Requiem Mass, guys. The Lion King score is an all-time score.
Dude, when I graduated from bass guitar to picking up an electric guitar, that riff when he's riding the motorbike is like one of the first riffs I ever learned on the guitar.
Yeah,
that's cool.
you and like a 10 gajillion other people.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, it's so fucking popular.
I mean, it's still so good, dude. It's
This
still
is really,
so good.
this is really tough. Lion King
Is
against
it?
Top Gun.
Is it that tough? I don't,
This is
we know what the better
worst design
movie is.
exercise ever. Yeah, it's like
One of these movies is a good movie that's really fun to watch, and one of these movies is a great movie. Do we feel comfortable saying that? And I don't even know if that matters in the context of like a blockbuster face-off.
We might disagree on which one you think is which one, but
boy, really? You think Top Gun is a better movie than Lion King?
Lion King's a perfect movie, Dave.
No.
But this is the tricky thing now is that this is the summer.
I thought you were going for Top Gun.
Blockbuster face-up, because Top Gun is like such an iconic. I mean, the '80s really were the 80s were the best decade for the summer.
So
blockbuster.
Summer blockbusters are for everyone. Lion King was a movie you could take the whole family out to, and they did, because after that fucking trailer campaign, who was not going to go and see this? And you take the whole family out and you sit there with your whole family and the kids shut up for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was a smash hit. Had a great soundtrack. People still singing it these days.
And if we're talking about, I know what you're saying, Jeff, in comparison to like a big, action driven movie, but Lion King is really unique in that second golden age Disney canon, because it does have so much heightened drama and action. Circle of Life opening is like really intense, but the battle at the end is really intense too. So it's not just
so good.
It's not like Finding Nemo, where it's like a really sweet, bring it home emotional ending that is still super good and entertaining. This is intensely dramatic. Maybe the most dramatic of that.
Guys, they got fucking hyenas doing goose steps. Like, come on.
Be prepared.
And they're literally fucking Hitler Youth on there.
And the really funny thing is, like Top Gun, I hate to say it, but I think I've seen Iron Eagle more.
Ew. Get the fuck out of here.
Dave.
Boo.
Guys, this Top Gun's a great, I mean, the 80s are just
soundtrack was Queen, dude.
The 80s are just such a good summer blockbuster. I think the Lion King's a better movie. Sorry, guys. Oh my God, our parents' generation is like, what?
All right, so Jeff just put a vote in for Lion King.
I put a vote for Lion King. I gave my reasons.
You go second, because I feel like I've been going second or first.
I've got to go for Lion King over Top Gun.
Oh!
It's hard, but I've got to.
Is it 3 for 3?
We're 3 for 3. Yeah, for sure. That is. I think one of you said you thought Lion King might go all the way when we were talking about it, right? Did one of you say that? After I said 93
I would never throw down like that.
I said it should because I think out of the animated movies, I think it's the best animated movie, especially in the context of our bracket. There maybe people be like, the other movies might, contend with that, but
no.
I just also love that it was the B team. That's why they hired Elton John and Tim Rice. It wasn't just because they would be better for pop songs. It was because Alan Menken and I guess it was who took over for Howard Ashman. They were too busy working on like Pocahontas and Aladdin and all those other movies that were like the A team. This is the B team movie. I think it's cool.
Oh, so it's like
you said it. So just to clarify, we now only have one animated feature in the mix, and right, because we got rid of Incredibles 2 and we just got rid of Finding Nemo.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's a big deal. And if there is one animated feature that deserves to be in it, I mean, this is the fucking.
I think so too.
Right? Yeah.
That was a hard decision though.
I'm glad.
Not saying Top Gun's not awesome, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You want to? Let's see what happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been waiting for us to talk about this movie because we told you at the very beginning of this whole fucking blockbuster, summer blockbuster head-to-head scenario. We gave 2 movies buys from the get-go because we didn't feel like doing the entire decade, because a lot of people, film criticism, cinephiles, historians agree that Jaws was the real beginning of what we come to call the blockbuster, even though of course there were other movies before then that did great numbers, but Jaws really did change it. So 1975's Jaws got a buy from the very beginning of this. So finally, for the first time ever in our blockbuster throwdown, here we go.
And it's up
Jaws
against
is in the mix in the Sweet 16, and it's Jaws 1975 against 2018's Wonder Woman.
Now, Wonder Woman had a tough battle to get in here up against 2019.
I actually managed to talk someone around to my side during that. So, if that had such a hard battle, I can't imagine this going well.
Nah.
I mean,
again, there's no question here for me. I think Jeff said he thinks Jaws is going to win this whole thing. Did you say that?
Guys, I don't want to. I can't keep. I don't want to throw out these platitudes anymore.
Yeah, let's just.
I'm the only one who's thrown one out, so you can throw one out if you want to. You don't have to.
I can throw one out.
What's so good
I
about
don't think it'll be
Jaws?
Jaws. We'll win it.
Oh, shit. No buzz. No buzz there at all. Just an open statement.
Yeah, we got it.
All right.
Okay.
I don't think the people need to hear us give a
As good as it is, I mean,
Jaws,
dude,
damn it. And being in the Cape.
This thing is so good. Like when I saw the making of Jaws on the TV before we got the making of Jaws before we got Jaws.
Whoa, are you serious? That's cool.
Yeah, there's used to be a huge delay for films in Australia, and so I saw the making of Jaws.
Films and nuclear warheads.
Nuclear weapons.
Fuck you guys.
Still waiting.
They're coming for us. They're coming for us.
They pushed the button.
But I saw the making of this.
Just wait on the wall behind you.
It had. Will you let me finish my fucking thought? Jesus fucking Christ!
Greenwald, get the lights. The switch on the wall behind you. Hurry! sorry.
All right, John's caught his nuts in his chair, and they showed the scene where the guy's on the boat and he slips down into Jaws, into his mouth. Did not go in the fucking water for 6 months.
Just the making of, gotcha.
Just the making of freaked me out so hard I didn't go in the water for 6 months.
A play that just opened on Broadway called "The Shark Is Broken," which is a strange, dark telling about Robert Shaw, Roy Scheider, and the other one, Goodbye Girl.
I mean,
being stuck on the boat while the shark is broken. Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, the shark breaking was the best thing that ever happened to this movie.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Because
it
introduced you to the concept of like not showing the creature.
Yeah,
I'm sure that had been done before, but like this was inadvertent, not showing the creature. They couldn't show it much because it didn't work as well as intended. And it worked to its advantage perfectly.
Yeah, back when you could just double the budget of a film.
Yeah, Steven
Spielberg. I need more money.
Honestly, no. Steven Spielberg. I mean, we haven't really talked about it yet. So just the quick bullet points. Everything Dave was saying is like frighteningly worse. Like every single thing that could go wrong went wrong. They planned on shooting this whole thing on location up in Prince
Edward Island.
No,
that's where they filmed. I thought that's where they filmed it.
God damn it, you guys!
It was
Boston. What the fuck is the name?
They filmed it on Cape Cod, right?
No, it wasn't the Cape, and it wasn't Martha's Vineyard.
It is Martha's Vineyard.
It was on the Cape.
It's Martha's Vineyard.
No, that's where it was like. Okay, you're probably right, but
I think it's Martha's Vineyard.
It was filmed at Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah. So everything went wrong. Ended up way doubling the budget. The weather, of course, didn't behave, for them at all. It was the first time Steven Spielberg had ever shot in water. This was only his second feature.
Yeah, the guy they hired to play the shark got speared by drunk rednecks in a speedboat.
I mean, just everything went wrong. And what's so crazy about this movie too is that I feel like this movie has stood the test of time for another reason. Yes, it's the blockbuster. Yes, it made people not want to go in the water. So like the thrills, chills, and suspense and all the things you're looking for a popcorn movie are there. But at its core, this is about like politics and corruption. And it's a character-driven blockbuster, which you almost never see. And it's kind of interesting. Like I don't think we can say that enough.
It was also the perfect B movie where no one listens to the expert. And they just ignore his advice, and disaster happens. It had all of the magical qualities in a blockbuster.
Well, right, but the point I was making was that because it's character driven, and it's based on a very successful book from the time, so it's not like they didn't know what the story arc was going to be. But a lot of times with bigger blockbusters, as we've mentioned before in some of our talks about Mission Impossibles and Fast and Furious movies, they build plot around action set pieces. Jaws didn't do that. No. Now, and by doing that, I feel like they earned a lot of opportunities for Steven Spielberg to actually create more unique suspense sequences when he was having to problem solve when things weren't going correctly. It ended up yielding something that felt like it was still designed to scare you, but that was actually rooted in something real. You were just as enraptured by the fact that the mayor was willing to let people risk their lives so that the town didn't get shut down for an entire summer. I feel like that's just as much a part of that. And it creates this not heightened sense of reality, the opposite. You just felt like there were these pedestrians that were going to have to figure out a way to save this entire town from this giant shark. Whereas most of these movies we've listed are dealing with the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like the stakes are just so ridiculous, and yet there's something more existential about Jaws to me. There's something very tactile about
much
a
biggest
shark
risk is you might lose a
you
leg.
apart. God, fuck that fucking shark, dude. Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws!
Jaws!
You goddamn.
Is that your vote? Are we voting?
Yeah. We're not even gonna talk about Wonder
I'm
Woman.
voting
We
for
talked
Wonder
about it
Woman.
last week.
No, I'm kidding.
We talked about Wonder Woman last week. It was good.
It's going to be
Jaws.
three for Jaws. That is definitely going in over Wonder Woman. I mean, it's a movie that people are still going to screenings of today. They had screenings recently. They have screenings every year.
It in
This
IMAX
thing,
last year.
yeah, they did. And also like they have it's one of the top ones to have the screening with the orchestra.
Yeah, guys, next year.
You've really got to book that shark in advance to come in and play the cello, though.
Next year in 2 years, like almost next year, will be the fucking 50, dude.
By the time the third Spider-Verse movie comes out, Jaws will be 50.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, we're moving on. All right, the next round, the next matchup. Excuse me, sorry, Jeff. Jesus.
Oh!
Dave's gonna cry about this one because we know what's about to happen. All right, because out of
way to bury the lead.
Because Jurassic Park was versus Mission Impossible 2, and we voted Jurassic Park in the first part of this episode. Jurassic Park now goes up against one of the movies that got a bye, 2014's Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Ooh, good job.
Jurassic Park. Guardians
Guys,
of the
I can
Galaxy.
tell you, take your time on this one because the next one's going to really fucking hurt.
Guardians. Oh, this is.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
God, you're right. Shit.
All right.
We
talked about both these movies already.
We talked about both. Great. Yeah.
Talked about both of them already.
And these are both fantastic movies.
They are both. Why don't we? Here's a fun little vehicle. Both of these movies have humor in them.
Sure.
Both of these movies have some funny moments.
Well, that's one a big pile of shit.
I would almost be willing to call a action comedy, and the other one I would call a horror suspense that has comedic moments.
I mean, all good horror suspense does. You got to introduce levity to like give everyone a chance to breathe.
One of these movies is entirely dominated, not entirely, there is a score, but is mostly dominated by a needle drop driven soundtrack. There's fucking sequences designed around catchy music. Yeah.
It's such
really
a good
excellent.
soundtrack.
And what's the name of his tape, Dave, from that part of?
Awesome mixtape.
And is it all 1970s music or is there 80s music in there as well?
I think there's a little bit I think there's 80s.
Okay. Yeah. Versus one of John Williams' most iconic scores of all time. Is Star Wars, Jaws, and Jurassic Park? Are those maybe Indiana Jones?
Maybe Indiana Jones.
Yeah. I mean,
funnily enough, all three of those films are in this round.
One of these movies was the very beginning of like absolute ILM taking special effects with computer generated graphics to a new level. Yeah. And one of these movies, just like we talked about earlier, was like fucking demonstrating where they are now, which is just absolute supreme.
ILM just still doing what they do. And about 6 other visual effects companies as well, because other ones exist now.
All right, guys.
I like Guardians a lot. I like the characters of it. It's Jurassic Park for sure, but I just Guardians is a really fun movie. It's really great.
Dude, I saw the trailer to Guardians, and the Ooga Chugga trailer just fucking got me.
Same.
I was like, it's a B set of characters of Marvel. I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. I went and saw it. I fucking loved it. I've seen that movie, I would say, over 50 times. I've seen it way more than Jurassic Park.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies out there to see.
But
here's the test, though, you guys. We are all together. We have one night. There's only one night only, 2 theaters, and they're only showing each of these movies once. What are we buying tickets for? To go see a re-release of
Ghostbusters.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like Jurassic Park, it's just Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's Jurassic Park for me too. David?
Guardians is so good though, but not a chance. David,
I want to say Guardians.
All right, good.
All right.
I
Our first
mean,
split vote of the
mainly
round.
because like Jurassic Park, for me, might be a tad dated. I don't know.
Visually, what are you talking
No,
about?
not visually. That still holds up amazingly. It just in like Guardians is fresher in my mind. It's funny. I associate it with like I went and saw the movie when I wasn't exactly feeling good, and it made me feel good.
Aw,
Yeah.
Dave. What did we do? You were living with us at the time. What did we do?
Yeah, remember,
were all living
remember the time you
together,
put
that's true.
2001 on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so here's another one where we filled in the gap, and it's brutal.
This is fucking brutal. Should we come back to this one?
Let's keep going because the one after it's almost as bad.
Because this is brutal. This could easily be like a semifinal matchup.
I feel good about it, you guys. I don't know. I think I disagree with you. I think this is a safe bet for me.
Okay.
1985's Back to the Future against 1977's Star Wars.
This is a
lot sharp.
It's a little rough for me, as I'm a huge fan of both of these.
I am too.
Except you voted for Ghostbusters. Back to the Future.
I did.
So if Back to the Future beats Star Wars in your mind, even though you voted for Ghostbusters over Back to the Future, Ghostbusters is like winning your bracket.
Jeff has stats on us now.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm keeping receipts.
It's like no fuckery. It's not the franchise face-off. There'll be no fuckery.
So just to give people some context when these things came out, 1975's Jaws cleared a whole new record. I think it crossed the $300 million mark in like a month or something, like pretty crazy. They had never been done before in 1975. And then it was beaten in 1977 by his friends George Lucas's Star Wars. It was the next time that it raised the ceiling. And I can't remember the number, but when this came out, these two men kind of established themselves coming out of this new Hollywood era of the 70s. Is the studios saw opportunities in what these commercial successes represented, of finding a way back to making commercially successful, wide audience, internationally appealing cinema, and not relying on auteur-driven new Hollywood stuff as much. We can have a different conversation about whether or not that was a great idea, but these guys fucking created a whole new world that led into the 80s.
I mean, 6-year-old
where
me
corporations
says yes.
bought up studios. Yeah, and we started seeing a lot more of these kinds of movies. And I think that Jeff and I, for sure, Dave, I'm sure you were young when these, were happening, but I bet you were able to witness.
As I said before, I saw Star Wars before it had Episode 4 on the front of it.
Yeah. So you were able to witness, and I feel like I grew up, and I am now in a world where I am watching people imitate these two men. Like everybody is trying to make fucking Spielberg movies and Lucas movies, and of course, some of them pull it off and not. But either way, I just wanted to put in context. Star Wars we think of it because of the universe is so wide now. There's so many shows and movies, but what it really represented at the time when it came out was that, wait, everybody can go see a movie again? That just hadn't happened in a long time. A wide audience.
It's like Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Like everybody can go and see a movie again?
Barbie. A quarter of people who saw Barbie had not been in the theaters since COVID.
Yeah.
A quarter. 1 out of every 4. Isn't that crazy?
It's also another one. I think it's worth, just because, one more time, put it in context, just like Jaws, the odds were against George Lucas. He did get the green light. He did get the money to make the first one, but nobody thought it was going to work. Alan Ladd Jr., who was running Fox at the time, did say, I believe in it. And apparently he said that the whole time. So to his credit, he never said shut it down.
Wasn't Alec Guinness was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But everybody else, there were odds all around. Nobody could really see it coming together. ILM, this was their first real big movie. And it was their first movie that he had really helped put together.
Literally making it up as they went along.
So they were making it up as they went along. They were like 6
Arts
weeks
and crafts,
behind.
like we do this show.
Nothing was ready.
Cutting out cardboard,
Nothing was fucking working, and somehow this came together to be the most successful movie of all time when it came out. And look, again, you guys, if there were all the Star Wars movies were being shown for like one night only, this is up there for my consideration of buying the ticket to go see like this. I might see this one. I might see Empire, right? It's still one of the best ones.
I mean, I will say,
Okay.
like like I said, I bought Back to the Future for the rewatch for talking about this. I've never not owned Star Wars. Like, I moved to this
Hey, there
country,
you go.
one of the first
There you
thing I
go.
did was
Alright.
bought Star Wars.
Yeah. It's
Even-
that's a pretty good tell right there.
Even like, because I do some visual effects work occasionally, and sometimes it's like when you're rotoing or something, you're just sitting there and it's boring and repetitive. I put the whole fucking trilogy on, and I let it run on the second monitor.
I mean,
and
it's
like,
one of those. Dave, you're right.
it's
It's
a
one of
really
those where, like,
comfortable, familiar story, and I dig it.
I have had, Dave, you're exactly right. I have had in my life, because I feel like there are two general viewing experiences that I've had with the Star Wars. Intentional, where I've been like, I'm watching fucking Star Wars, and I put it on. And then back in the day when before streamers, sometimes these things would just be on TV and they would run in trilogies. And if it was on, I would just be like, well, I know what I'm doing for the rest of my night.
Yeah.
I'm just
I own
gonna sit
Star
down,
Wars. I
gonna
own
order some pizza, and I'm
special
watching all fucking
edition.
3 of them.
Also,
Like, yeah.
also, we've all seen pictures of the lines because they moved the release date up to the Wednesday before Memorial Day because they were worried that Smokey and the Bandit might crush it in marketing.
I mean, Smoking the Bandit was a good film.
yeah. So 20th Century Fox moved up the release date, but only 37 theaters agreed to it. So the first like day, there were only
That was
a certain
back when
amount. That's why-
theaters had a say.
Yeah, and it's
This
still
is also
and
this
still
is
set
also
records.
unlike Jaws. I'll just throw this last little tidbit in there, and I think I mentioned this on the show last summer. I had the privilege of meeting one of the young, he was young at the time, gentleman who got to mix Star Wars. And he was telling me about one of the other technological advancements of Star Wars, along with ILM and visual effects, was sound. That was the first movie that they introduced what eventually became 5.1 sound with they've evolved it after Apocalypse Now, because they technically got there first in a way. But introducing a stronger LFE, which is the 0.1, the low sub, the way that they were to mix dialogue in relation to, like, apparently the lower ends, like, changed things, you know, a lot. And it set a new standard, and they pissed off every fucking theater owner in America because they had to figure out ways to, this was way before multiplexes. Another I'll just throw this one bit out there as well. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg might be credited with the rise of what eventually became the second wave of independent cinema in the 90s, because these gigantic blockbusters, starting with Jaws and Star Wars, brought people into the theaters so heavily that they were able to create multiplexes, and the multiplexes eventually had extra theaters, and they were able to support smaller budgeted movies and, you know, things like that, because they knew their tent poles in theaters 1 and theater 16 were going to be fucking full every fucking showing every day. So,
Dude,
anyway.
it's, the really funny thing is I had 3 of what are now the rarest Star Wars action figures ever. There were thousands, and I played with them in the bath.
In the back, dude, I don't think I should. Guys, did I send you this photo? This thing is vintage as fuck. I have, like, the legit, like, it's a big model of the Millennium Falcon, and my mom, like, my nieces were playing it with the other day. She was like, what do you think we should do with this? And I was like, fucking put it back in the box. That thing is
Is that the one?
scratched. It's
Is that the one where you had
perfect.
to glue Han Solo's arms on? It was that fucking detailed? Because I had that one with the lights in the back of the. I had the lights in the back of the Falcon that it had a switch. You could light them up.
I don't remember if this one lit up, but I mean, it is fucking detailed, and we did not put it together. We bought it like that. So it wasn't like
I put
us
mine.
putting it together.
Well, me and my dad put mine together. My dad mostly, but because I got bored and wandered off. But
and available in Australia. Do it yourself.
You had to glue his fucking arms on in the cockpit.
All right, people.
I
So
love
it's Star
it,
Wars,
dude.
right?
That's fucking
I think it's Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars for me.
think it's
Sorry,
Star
Back to the
Wars,
Future.
you
We
guys.
talked about Back to the Future more early in our feed, so you got to go back there. We love Back to the Future. It's really fun, but it's got to be Star Wars.
Done.
All right.
You ready to hurt again?
Halfway through our round of 16 here. 1989's Batman is up against Independence Day.
Yeah, that's hard. Again, like I said, anytime you throw out the J word, Joker.
Damn it.
We
Joker,
all had a
Joker.
real. I think we all had a blast rewatching Batman, right? We all three rewatched it, right? That was so good. I hadn't seen it in a long
Prince
time.
music.
It's
So much Prince music.
Oh man, no, and I see this is one.
That was
that, like,
around the time when they got an artist, though, because like Highlander was doing the same thing. You had Iron Eagle.
Your favorite movie.
I know that like I've seen, read about, seen interviews about, watched documentaries and stuff. Like I wasn't old enough. I was only 3 but I know that like the release of Batman, this was like the birth of where we are now with superheroes, just dominating it. And people were fucking pumped. I got to meet the man who produced Batman this summer and built a whole career. And I mean, this changed everything at Warner Brothers. It got them back into being a gigantic tentpole studio.
Does he walk around going, I'm Batman, producer.
I am Batman. Do you remember the Snickers commercial where the guy gets hit on the head? He's like, I'm Batman. Do you guys remember that from the 90s?
Yeah.
The football player.
I don't go here.
Michael
the
Keaton.
town needs an enema. You have the Danny Elfman score.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
You guys, I think I know what my vote is, and I think you might be disappointed with me, but I'm diehard Independence Day. I think I'm still.
I am too. I'm sorry, Dave.
dude.
I'm sorry.
You know what? I've also got to go to that.
That's so.
Good,
I mean, it is such a good summer blockbuster.
I don't think we're going to be in disagreement too much.
It's got that little bit of cheesiness to it. I mean, God.
Jeff, are you issuing a platitude? Is Independence Day going all the way? Is it going the distance? Is it going to take it home?
Fucking platitude. I love it. It's just such a good summer movie.
You ready for the internet to blow up?
It's called Independence Day.
I might watch it tonight. I might rewatch it for like the 40th time.
It comes out on July 4th.
I won't. I've got an early call tomorrow, but yeah.
It comes out on July 4th. All right.
All right, we got 3 more to go in this round. Actually, this is it for the episode. We got 3 more for this episode. All right, we're cooking, sort of. All right.
How are we doing on time?
We're only an hour in.
Not that bad. Yeah, we're great. This is great. Let's do it.
Okay.
See what happens when I take the clock away?
We got the Dark Knight.
Yeah. This is
You go
fun.
ahead. You go ahead.
All right. Because Dark Knight beat Finding Nemo in that previous conversation earlier in the episode. It's now the Dark Knight versus, oh my God,
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yeah, it's hard to read. the font is so
I was
small.
like, the first one?
What?
I was looking at it was like 2001.
I mean, Deathly Hallows is just such a good end to that trilogy, especially if you watch it in sequence, and especially if you really like watching the kids grow up.
Wasn't Harry Potter a prominent feature in our franchise face-off until it ended?
Number 2. It came in second place.
It came in second place.
But we did kind of also ignore Batman until about halfway through, I think.
We did. That was an outlier that got thrown in.
They came back in.
Yeah.
I'm also going to remember. I'm going to remind listeners that I think one of us said this. It may have been me, that I had never really watched Deathly Hallows Part 2 out of context, but I was watching it before we recorded that Sunday, and I had a blast. I often only watch these movies in order, like all the way. I've never really just picked one and watched it. I have sat down and just watched Dark Knight multiple times out of context. You know what I mean? It's just like, it is one of those where you can just
one thing you
I don't
definitely
care. It's
out
too
of context
good.
is the only way to watch it. It stands alone. Like Batman Begins is great, and you definitely do not want to watch Dark Knight Rises after it.
Guys, why didn't the Ministry of Magic? Why didn't the Ministry of Magic or the parents show up to Hogwarts and sit there and be like, I don't know, guys, Voldemort's attacking our kids.
Don't overthink
like,
it.
It's okay. They know Expelliarmus. They know it. They're okay.
Yeah, they're good. They can,
There's fucking Dementors outside the school. They're like, they'll be all right.
We're trying to kill him. They're trying to kill him. They're like, Expelliarmus. Ha ha.
I don't want to brag, but we played Harry Potter in our softball league this week in Central Park.
How'd you do?
Did you guys beat them?
34-1.
Oh
my God! Not even a fucking
those British sissies.
Voldemort didn't beat those kids as hard as we just did.
They fucking Wow, they're really bad at softball.
I mean,
it's just there's no way around.
They had an off day.
Have you seen them play Quidditch? So it's the Dark Knight.
I mean, we can't spell their bones away beforehand.
For me, it's the Dark Knight.
Now, so John's laying thrown down for the Dark Knight. That's one in.
Yep. Dark Knight.
No, just really
two, so it doesn't even matter what I think, but I was also going to think Dark Knight.
And before we move on from it, I did just want to, because you said kind of the inverse of it, Dave. I do think you're right that, like, in context, Dark Knight kind of obviously, stands out. It is kind of fun to think that, like, you get, at least that in the Harry Potter, like, you're building to the final film is really, really, really good. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get like let down as you move your way.
I mean, it's also long, and there's a really slow bit in the middle of it, and it gets a bit dreary. And So it doesn't like put it.
Are you talking about when he goes to the woods to sacrifice himself? Or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. Put up against the Dark Knight. It's just,
so emotional.
I was just like, whatever. Fucking stop whining about it.
The ghosts of his parents.
Ghosts of his parents. He knows he has to die.
Lupin.
Yeah,
Lupin.
great.
Jeff doesn't want to talk about.
Oh,
Lupin
sorry,
anymore.
poor you.
Fucking Lupin. Not after Wonder Woman. I can't do it.
All right.
All right.
The next round. Let's do it.
Oh, this is
Dave,
going to be
what is it?
hard. This is going to be hard. Armageddon versus E.T.
Guys, we
Yeah,
talked
that's a
about
tough
ET
one.
like months ago.
Armageddon.
We talked
I
about
was being
ET
sarcastic. Were you being serious? I'm just curious.
months
Are you really struggling with this one, Dave? Are you going to vote for Armageddon over ET? Are you going to do it?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Armageddon's a fucking good blockbuster
It's
movie.
because of Buscemi, isn't it? It's because of
It is.
Buscemi
It's
when
totally
he
Buscemi.
loses it.
I want to have babies.
Yeah.
I want to have babies. I want to make babies.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to struggle too much with this one, despite the fact I will
doesn't
agree
have
with you.
Buscemi.
I had a blast rewatching Armageddon, and I never
it's so
thought I would
fun.
rewatch it ever again. I didn't love
Yeah.
it when I was younger. I thought it was fine. I really, really did enjoy it. But E.T.
Michael Clark Duncan sings "Leaving on a Jet Plane" 2 octaves below everybody else.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. It's E.T. for me all the way. There's just no...
Armageddon was exhausting. I mean, it was really a great movie, but man, it was tiring. E.T.'s good.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw
No, yeah.
I saw E.T. when I was 10, so I was right in the age frame it was meant for.
And
You
I
wanted
think I
an
enjoyed
alien?
Armageddon more.
Oh my God, David. We forgot that's the other iconic score when I was listing Mr. Williams.
E.T.?
I mentioned it.
Yes,
I mentioned
it's
it. I
fucking
shouted it in there. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
All
I put
right.
it at number 5 though. And
Everyone's
going to
really regret this one.
Dave, you voted for Armageddon over E.T. I just want to make sure all the listeners heard you do that.
It's a thing. It's like I think back and like I watch it and it's like Armageddon's just flashier. It appeals to me more
It
now
is
at my
more
current
spectacle.
age. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, I even bought the Atari 2600 ET game. So, and it sucked.
It lost a lot of money.
We can buzz if we want, but dude, there were landfill filled with that cartridge. They
Didn't
just threw them out. They couldn't fucking sell them.
like right after
Yeah.
this game came out.
Yeah, because of that game.
Sorry, had it in the bag. They had Tron and they had fucking ET. Let's go. And
All
then
right,
it's like, okay.
is this our last
Okay.
one? This is our last one for this
Yeah.
bracket.
This is the last one for this episode. Yeah.
Terminator 2 versus The Empire Strikes Back. We've saved
Son
the
of a
best,
bitch.
hardest for
So
last.
context for our series. So we started in 1980, which is Empire Strikes Back, which immediately put it up against 1981, which was Raiders of the Lost Ark. Those two movies could easily be like a top 4, top 8 matchup. Easy. Either of those, especially Raiders, like could be anybody's favorite summer
Damn you,
blockbuster.
random
But
numbers.
Empire goes on. And now here it is up against Terminator 2.
You said Empire of the Sun, by the way. God, I don't even want to. Like, we're all like nervous to
I feel
talk
sick.
about it. This is.
I feel sick. No,
Yeah,
I don't
this is,
actually. This
I'd
is
rather
a
talk about
fairly
Empire of
easy
the
one
Sun.
for me, to be honest. Like,
I think I know which way you're going, but I wouldn't be surprised either way, honestly.
Do you wish Ghost had moved on instead of Terminator 2?
no, I don't.
Just for the Bernie Sanders meme. That's the only reason. Just because that thing was still funny. Oh my God, you guys. Hold on. I have to just talk about it in context of franchises again, because they both are, and oftentimes these blockbusters are wrapped up in our experience is wrapped up in a franchise.
You have to judge them by themselves, I guess.
I know. That's what I'm saying, is that Empire Strikes Back alone, of course I enjoy it, but I remember, and I've seen it so many times, in my T2 rewatch, I just remember thinking like, this stands by itself, dude. Like, it was so good. I was so blown away how perfect it was from beginning to end, and how I didn't feel a need to watch the first one or the third one. Whereas every time I watch Empire, for better or for worse, maybe this conversation will help me decide, it makes me want to watch more Star Wars. It makes me want to just keep going or watch A New Hope again. And I'm not sure how to qualify that in terms of this conversation.
Well, you go, Jeff.
I think it's funny because when we did Empire as a first movie against Raiders, and Empire is like, it's the best Star Wars movie, I think, for most people, at least certainly when it comes to like 1 through 9, episodes 1 through 9. A lot of people, the Imperial March gets introduced in this one. They take the Star Wars concepts. ILM was actually on target. They were on task for this one in their new studio up in San Francisco. The best summer blockbusters. I mean, T2 is just such a monster, iconic summer blockbuster.
But it's like, of course you should put Empire Strikes Back
LA,
through.
I mean,
like, are we going to be the guys who don't do that?
I'm famously Team Ewok all the way.
fucking team.
I enjoyed
Fuck you, Dave. You fucking
Return of the Jedi more than Empire. I never understood what anybody.
Why are these Ewoks more important than the rest of the? I thought it was going to be all the stars were going to be at war, but instead it was these little fucking furry creatures.
All the stars were going to.
Yeah,
Dave. So you're saying you've just never understood the hoopla? Everybody, like the whole. Everybody thinks it's the best one.
I get that a lot of. I'm wondering a lot of people saying it's the best one because they were told it was the best one.
I know what you mean. No, I know what you mean. There is that. Whereas cultural status.
Everybody saw
like
T2 for themselves, and it is an absolute fucking smash. Like, it has everything. It has they introduced comedy into the Terminator universe. They like, it has a young sassy John Connor. It has a shape-shifting fucking Terminator. They pioneered technology to make it. It just, granted, it's 11 years later, so. It has a bit of that advantage,
but it holds up though.
It holds up.
It holds up. Yeah.
It holds up. I mean, and again, if you put it back to the analogy we used before, and there was a ticket going for Empire or Terminator 2, I'd probably buy a ticket for T2.
It's funny. It's funny that.
God, that's good. Man. Yeah.
I think Empire is the best Star Wars movie, which is why which is why I voted for it to beat Raiders. But I'd be perfectly content with Empire not going as far as the original Star Wars. I feel like in these kinds of formats, not to be influenced by previous kinds of these. God,
imagine if we argued it down to Star Wars against Empire. The internet would fucking implode.
We would have failed if we did. That would have been our fault, right? Like they're not better than every other movie on here.
But as far as the best summer blockbuster, I think Star Wars is the better summer blockbuster, even though Empire beat Raiders.
I'm throwing in for T2 right now.
John?
T2.
I'm going for T2 too. I thought you were going to go for Empire. I thought you were going to do it.
I can't believe we did it, you guys, but I totally agree. Dave, the theater scenario, again, if we only have one night, one chance to buy a ticket, I think I'm going T2, dude. It's just, what a wild ride. My jaw was on the floor the last time I rewatched it. And that's probably the 7th or 8th time I've seen it. And it still was just like, it's a perfect fucking action movie.
It does not disappoint. I even like the alternate ending.
What's the alternate ending?
All right.
The one with I think that just goes up the road, like it's just the road passing in a voiceover.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought that was the ending.
Maybe there's 2 voiceovers. I don't know, but there is an alternate ending. I've seen both.
Okay.
Wait, that is. We just rewatched these.
That is the ending, right? With her, yeah. Great voiceover. Man, we did it. Universe, fucking social media. Feel free to come after us because I hope we took that serious. That was a tough conversation there, but. We did it, man. Fucking T2 over Empire Strikes Back. I can't believe we did it, but we did it.
And you're probably mad that some aren't on the list, but
I would challenge you to rewatch both of them and tell me what you think was more fun to watch with a fucking bowl of popcorn in your arms on a big screen.
So next week we've set ourselves up for some fun. Lion King versus Jaws. Jurassic Park versus Star Wars. Independence Day versus The Dark Knight.
Oh God!
Oh no!
E.T. versus Terminator 2.
These are fucking torture.
Oh,
there are definitely there are ways to shift some around that wouldn't feel as torturous, but these particular matchups are fucking torture.
And so we'll see how that goes, I guess.
Oh no! All right,
Dark Knight against what is Dark Knight against?
Out.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire. What is that? Dark Knight is against
Portrait of a Lady.
Independence Day.
We're not even excited. I'm glad you listened, but we're actually all like depressed.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, film fans. We're recording these episodes back to back, so we're gonna we're gonna be even drunker in just a little bit, and you're gonna have some fun listening.
Oh my God! You want to do what you've been watching really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Dave, what you been watching?
This week, I caught Asteroid City, which just dropped on Peacock. Finally.
Nice. You got Peacock. You paid for
How
Peacock.
was it?
Cool.
I got it on a special. They had like a $20 thing for a year. So I got on speed.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that actually
yeah.
works, though? I thought
Yeah.
it was like some just fucking scammy thing.
No,
where it's
it
like,
works.
It only gives you
And,
shit.
Actually, it works.
Yeah, it gives you an ad at the start of your movie, but fuck it.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It was colourful and very very unique.
Oh my god! All right, say whatever else you're watching for the next episode, John.
I went 2 nights ago. I finally went and saw the new Mission Impossible. First thing and only thing I really want to say about like the experience was that it was still a full theater, you guys. It was a full. Cool. It was with IMAX or Dolby. It was a regular theater, but I was not the only person there. Elizabeth came with me. It was a full
he's hanging
theater.
on, hoping Oppenheimer gives up its IMAXs.
Honestly, you guys, I enjoyed it, dudes. Y'all are right. Everyone has talked to me about it is right. The pacing is different. Like they literally cut it differently. The way the music is edited and the sound design is edited, there's almost no atmospheric sound design in between the action sequences, which created this very strange sense of storytelling. The editing created this pacing that made it feel like it was lingering in a way that they don't usually linger. And story-wise, just on the page, literally the story, it did not feel like the other ones. Ilsa being Sayonara, sorry for the spoiler. If you haven't seen it yet, that got me. It definitely got me. But other than that tie back to the other ones, this feels like they're trying to almost like say, maybe we got 3 or 4 left and we want to kind of take it in a new direction.
That's what I was thinking. Because you asked me, is it rooted? And there are callbacks. Matt was picking out all the callbacks to the first one, for instance. And I was like, they always do that, though. I feel like this one, like if you didn't know any of that, you wouldn't miss anything. You know, like it enhanced for people who knew.
I still enjoyed it though. Like it felt different in a lot of those ways. And I remembered, like you said, Dan said, that was a great popcorn movie. I don't know how it lives in the context of Mission Impossibles. I'm excited to rewatch this like in context with the other ones later. But despite its differences, I still really, really enjoyed watching this movie. Like I had fun the whole time. And I was kind of curious to see what they're going to do next. What a timely villain. They shot this movie 2 years ago before ChatGPT, and they're thinking about that
they
shit.
Added, they added that when one of the original villain dropped out, and they rewrote the story and introduced the AI. That was introduced mid-production.
Cool.
Well, either way, it was before ChatGPT launched. Yeah, right. I mean, so it's still like it was freaky thinking about all these things.
Would you go to the bottom of the Arctic Ocean in Russia, and would you fucking kill ChatGPT if you had the chance?
I kind of hope so. And to be honest with you, dude,
I mean, I know what sub I wouldn't be taking.
David, what you were saying about like old school MI things, Jesus Christ, old school Mission Impossible things. I kind of love that this gigantic AI story about the end of the world is going to come down to them in scuba gear to a tangible submarine at the bottom of the sea. I'm excited to watch
fake mask to fool it and cut someone's eye out. And
Jeff, tell me. I've been waiting all week for you to say this. Tell me what you thought, dude. Say it out loud.
I saw Oppenheimer.
Yes.
The 70 millimeter IMAX. There's only one in New York City. I went 10:30 a.m. on a Monday, which by the way is a very stressful time to see a movie. Go? I went to AMC Lincoln Square. God damn it. And 10 minutes before the Trinity test, 10 minutes before they test the bomb, it just goes dark on the screen. No sound or anything. It's just dark. And everybody's sitting around. We're looking around. And finally, some guy comes out. Guys, the 70 millimeter projector is broken. We are going to finish on laser. And everybody just starts yelling. This is a packed theater. I mean, there's 400 seats. Somebody shouted that he took a $60 Amtrak train to get there because it was the only place. He's like, are you going to give me my $60 for my Amtrak train ticket? My train ticket was $60. You're going to refund that?
I came from Yonkers. What the fuck?
And
that's
at the end, usually when there's an issue like this, they in the old days, they would hand out coupons right at the door when you walked out. No, you had to go to the box office, and the box office was fucking slammed. There was a line around the corner. I think they're just banking on everybody just being on A-list and being like, fuck it, it's a free movie anyway. But other than that, guys, I fucking loved it. It fucking knocked me out. It was exhausting. Not exhausting. It was stressful.
Yeah.
It was like
one of the lucky few that got to piss in the middle of it.
I didn't, but a lot of people did take their opportunity for sure. But no, The acting performances are just unbelievable.
Yeah,
Every single
absolutely.
person. I know all the supporting characters. Yes, Downey, Emily Blunt. Everybody give them all the praise. Cillian Murphy's in every frame of this movie, and it's like a Lawrence of Arabia's that like level performance, man. It is
think
so
so
good. He
too,
has so many
dude.
close-ups for this monster epic, and he fucking carries it, man. He is so money. The pacing is perfect. The sound was perfect. Fuck everybody that said they couldn't hear the dialogue. What do you want? He doesn't do ADR,
Yeah.
and I love that. Guys, I thought this was great. I love the Trinity sequence. Some people didn't love it. I love the way they did it. I thought it was fantastic. 10 out of 10.
God, it's so good. It's so good. Good. That was great, you guys.
All right.
Let's go. Let's take a piss
Gush
break
me,
and come back.
fuck yeah, gush me, man. Hell yeah. Let's talk about Ludwig Göransson's score. Let's go. Fuck yeah. Guys, that's the end of this episode. We are gonna finish up. I think we're going 8-1. Guys, I think we're doing it next week. I think we're doing
So, too.
Yep.
8-1.
We're gonna wrap this up.
All right, film fans. See ya.
Film fans, we'll see you for our
Peace.
finale next week. Bye.